Alright guys, how's it going? Emmett here, hope you're doing okay. Appreciate you tuning in for this one. Today we're going to be talking about buying leads. I want to give my opinions on this, and maybe I'm biased because I'm from Gen Z, as regrettable as it is for me to say that, and because obviously I have a vested interest in an alternative to this because I work in consultancy and done for you services in producing appointments, leads, clients, all of that for advisors. So maybe that does make me biased, but I want to present my opinions on the topic today. I also want to present a potential solution or a potential second option for you guys. So yeah, maybe I am biased. Maybe I'm not the person that you should be listening to, but you can hear both sides of the coin. You can hear my perspective and you can form your own opinions based on what I have to say today. So my initial observations on the industry, on the mortgage industry, being young, being a bit of an outsider. I'm only 22 years old. I was born in 2002. For all those who are watching, probably horrified at the fact that it was this millennium, but nonetheless, I'm somewhat of an outsider. My background is in marketing. I'm fresh out of university, and I'm not exactly the same as everybody that is in the financial services sector, because everybody that is in the space already probably has a lot of experience. Typically, you don't see somebody who is in their early 20s getting into the space. And as an outsider, what I have noticed is that a lot of people are still treating the industry as though it were in the position it was probably whenever I was born 20 years ago. There was no social media 20 years ago. There was barely even online. It was just the rise of the dot-com bubble 20 years ago, and even just the idea of Google and websites was old. So what did people do? Like, there was word of mouth, yeah. And then coming into this, there was probably a craze of online leads, purchasing leads. You can buy leads from this online site, and this person can sell you this many leads at this price, or you can buy a lead at this price, or whatever it may be. And there was the craze of buying leads. Right? It was like, oh, I can buy leads instead of just having to worry about word of mouth. But it doesn't exactly work the same way that it used to. It's not necessarily where the industry is going to be best served. You're not just going to get the best results because buying leads was a thing 20 years ago. And I get it. Change isn't it's not nice. People don't like change. But you have to adapt and you have to stay up to speed with what works. And in my opinion, buying leads no longer works and is no longer the best method. But a lot of people are still stuck in that way. And you know what? If it works, that's absolutely fine. If you're still buying leads and that still works for your business, cool. But I have spoke with hundreds of people by now at this stage about their experiences with client acquisition, and hundreds of people have told me that they have, probably tens of people, but many tens of people have told me that they've already tried purchasing leads to no avail. It's the same complaint every single time. So we have to pay like loads up front, and there's no guarantee in the quality of the leads. And you have to like ring them 10 times. And even whenever you do eventually get them on the phone, which is the hardest part in the first place, it's like they barely even know who you are, why they're calling you. They're just like, oh, what? Oh yeah, no, I was just on some site. I was just looking for some information. And now you're calling me. And it seems to be that every site takes a lead down this path of making them think that they're going to get some more information, but by the time that they reach the end goal of the answer to their question, it's just like, oh, thanks for your submission, an advisor will be in touch, and all of a sudden that person is sold off as a lead. But at no point did that person say, hey, I want to make an inquiry, I want to have a conversation with somebody, I want to pay a lot of money and get involved with a big expensive process and a huge financial commitment, being a mortgage. It's not someone's ready to buy, and it's not someone's necessarily going to translate into business, especially when they weren't even expecting your call or expecting to make an inquiry or wanting to go down that path. But that seems to be what the case is, and the effect for advisors, so the outcome for advisors is that they don't get appointments and they don't get clients because these people, the inputs of their client acquisition are poor. There isn't intent, there isn't quality, there's no trust, there's no nurturing, and this is typically why it doesn't work. Okay, put yourself in the shoes of the lead. Okay, the prospect, so to speak. They are looking for some more information. They maybe make an inquiry online, and then all of a sudden they're getting called by somebody saying like, "Hey, do you want to like put down a 30k deposit on a property, pay like £2,000 every month for the rest of your life, and pay me like £1,000 for the service, just because I have your number here and I paid to get your number and access to this conversation? Like, fuck no. Like, who the fuck is gonna... No one's gonna say that, excuse my language, but like, there's just no way that a lead is gonna go for that. And I say lead, like, it's a real person with a real situation, you know, it's somebody's life. That is not, in my opinion, what is going to translate into business. And based on my observations of the industry, it's not what's translated into business for other people either. There is no trust. They don't know you. They don't like you. The old saying, people buy from people. It's not an old saying. It's like a fundamental of business and of sales and of marketing. People buy from people. And if they don't know you, they don't trust you, they haven't seen any sort of social proof, they don't know what you do, they don't know you as a person, they're not familiar with you, they don't know your mannerisms, they don't know how you speak, they don't recognise that you actually have a life outside of just calling these leads and saying, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? Because you're probably a really cool person watching this, guy or girl, whoever it is. You probably have a family, you probably do stuff outside of work, you have hobbies that you enjoy. I'm sure you can think of some funny things that you can share about your life that would get people to like you. But those leads can't see that because it's a cold call. It is effectively a cold call to that lead saying, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? And that's why they don't go. That's why they don't go for the service. That's why they don't go with you, because they haven't seen that side of you and you haven't given them a chance to either. So what actually is the solution? In my opinion, I think that buying leads has to die, just personally. That's not true. It doesn't have to die, but this concept of dependency of the industry on buying leads as the only other method of client acquisition that isn't word of mouth and organic attraction and organic growth, the binary split of organic growth versus buying leads, that needs to die, because that is not the only way to grow your business. Organic attraction, word of mouth, yeah, cool. That should be going for every single business anyway. If not, there's probably an issue with your service, with your customer service, the way that you treat clients. Because if you're doing a good job, people will recommend you and they will refer you. But the only other option being buying leads, no, that can't be the case anymore. I think that personally needs to be left in the past. And it's also why I'm making this video. I get 50 views a video if I'm lucky. And if I can even maybe change 50 people's mind, then job well done in my eyes. So, yeah. Let me talk about some form of solution. What else can people do? What am I doing that's actually working for advisors in this space? Yeah, like I said, I'm biased, but just hear me out, form your own opinions. What I'm looking to do is contrast what there is on the table at the moment. Cold leads, people who don't know you, people who don't trust you, and then on the flip side of that, you don't know anything about the lead either. You don't know about anything about their situation, their affordability, their eligibility, their intent, what stage of the journey they're at. You don't know any of that. So what can we do to counteract all of those problems? First of all, you have to get people to like, know, and trust you so that they're comfortable enough to go ahead with your service. And the way that I do that is through social media. And for all of those who winced whenever I said that, I don't want to be harsh, but it needs to be something that people need. People just need to get over it. It's like the monster in the cupboard whenever you were 7 years old. It's like, oh, I'm afraid of this monster in the cupboard. I'm afraid of speaking on camera, of putting myself out there. Maybe you're even telling yourself like, oh, it's just for kids, this isn't where I can do business. But realistically, it's just a subconscious block to do what you know you need to do to grow your business. Certainly in my opinion, my observations on it, because there are people out there doing so much on social media, setting so many appointments, having conversation with people every single day, and it's very visibly apparent. And for you to come out and say, oh no, it's just for kids, it's not going to work for business, I'm not going to attract serious people through social media and through this method, it's very much just for me a subconscious block to stop you from growing, to keep you in the same place, to maintain some form of balance and stop growth, because people hate change. Like I said at the start of the video, people don't want to come away from buying leads. They don't like change. So I always recommend that people start off with an organic social media approach. You want to build that trust with your audience. Identify a certain person that you want to help, okay? Understand their life and try and fully encapsulate everything about them. The problems that they face on a daily basis, the problems that they face in relation to your service. So let's say it's first-time buyers, okay? You want to actually break down what they're worried about. Number one, they need a deposit. Number two, they need to know how much they can borrow, what they can afford. They need to know how certain credit issues will affect their application. They need to know about hidden fees. I've just given a shitload of information about problems that they're facing. And you might be looking at me saying, oh, well, you're just an amateur, you're not a qualified advisor, how can you speak in this? That is a good thing. I'm not a qualified advisor, and I just gave you 4 different pillars on which you can make content, and you can probably make about 10 videos on each of those. You're the advisor. You're going to be the one that can extrapolate this on and think of video ideas that you can talk on. So affordability, you can talk about how generally as a rule of thumb, people can borrow 4.5 times their income. You can go into talking about self-employed and how lenders will determine somebody's income based on their tax returns, their SA302s. You'll be able to think of 10 videos from that. I'm not going to go into 10 videos because that's not what the purpose of this video is. It's just a high-level overview. But you would take each of those pillars, affordability, deposit, how much you can afford to borrow, how credit issues will affect your application, and hidden fees. That's 4 different content pillars, and you want to speak to people's uncertainties and problems that they face in relation to those pillars. At the same time, though, it's very much sort of just professional focused. It's like service, professionalism. And whilst that's good, and it does convey authority, old saying, people buy from people. You'll remember I had said just a couple of minutes ago about how you probably have hobbies and things that you do in your life. You have a family, you do things in your spare time that people will be able to relate to. People will look at you and think, oh, it's actually a real person. I like this person's values. I like how this person spends their time. I want to be a part of it. And by really caring about yourself and by doing what's best for you, you can attract like-minded people. You can bring out the best in people as well. Isn't this what life is all about at the end of the day? Who knows? I'm Gen Z. I'm only 22. Why would you listen to me? But do the best for yourself. You'll light that spark in other people, and people will want to be a part of you and what you do. So let's say, for example, you run on Saturday mornings. You're part of a running club. Share it. You went out for coffee with your friends on a Saturday morning. You're a normal person outside of work. Yeah, you know about stamp duty and legal fees, and you can talk people through how much they can afford to borrow. But at the same time, at the weekends, you're just exactly the same as them. You have a family that you care for. You go out for drinks with your friends. You go to the gym. And this is all stuff that you can share through social media that gets people to like, know, and trust you. So that's essentially how you can develop an organic strategy. And that's how you're going to get people to like, know, and trust you. It takes away the coldness from buying leads. And I have plenty of other videos on this, by the way. If you want some more detail on it, go ahead and have a look. They're completely free, no obligations. But if you're looking for some more help and detail, go ahead and have a look at them. But after we've gotten rid of the step 1, okay, people like, know, and trust us. These leads aren't as cold anymore because we can generate leads through our views and through our followers. We need an actual way to gather these people, to get their contact information, to take them from a viewer into a lead, and to have the right infrastructure and systems to deal with the volume of people that are going to be coming in, but nurture them effectively as well. So I may go ahead and link my nurture sequence down below. It's only going to be applicable to a certain cohort of people. So I use a CRM system called Go High Level. I don't want to charge you 100, 150 quid a month like some people might. I'd rather just give it away for free. So if you want to check the description, my Go High Level snapshot for SMS and email nurture sequences for new leads will be down below. So you can go ahead, take that. If you have Go High Level, it's £97 a month or $97 a month. Then you can go ahead and implement that yourself. But what you want is an extensive automated, ideally, it doesn't have to be automated, but if you want to send this manually, then, well, very interesting preference there if that's the case. But you need a system to stay in touch with people as soon as they become a lead, as soon as they submit, as soon as they show interest in what you do. You need to get in touch with them. Speed to lead, okay? And that's another problem with buying leads. There is no speed to lead. Upon that person becoming a lead or just making an inquiry online and then being sold to you, there could be, if there's more than an hour, then you're fucked. The lead's fucked, okay? You're not going to convert that person into business. Your speed to lead ideally needs to be 5-10 minutes tops. And people are letting this go for like 10 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. Crazy. No way is that person going to convert after that much time. So you need that automated SMS and email lead nurture sequence. Mine is down below, but make sure that you have something in there to get in contact with these people straight away. Make that manual phone call as well, and nurture those guys over time while you do your follow-ups. That's something that needs to be done. You can use mine if you want. I'll leave a link below. But if not, you can build out your own too. It's no worries. And then lastly, once we have everything in place to remove the cold side of the leads, to build that trust, to get them to like, know, and trust you, people buy from people, implementing all of that stuff to make sure that these leads are going to be willing to go ahead with you, and you've built the infrastructure to actually deal with the volume of people that are coming in, then we can introduce paid media, paid strategies. I am a massive fan of Facebook and Instagram ads, mainly just because I'm good at them. But if you want to do Google, if you want to do SEO, I mean, cool, people have done well from it. But I stick with what I know. I know Facebook and Instagram, and I know the results that have been gotten from it as well. So, yeah, that is essentially what I would recommend that you do instead. I will summarize it. When it comes to buying leads, it's a case of somebody maybe looking for some information somewhere. They aren't in particular, they aren't in good faith with any advisors, any companies, any organizations. They're just on a website looking for some more information. They get led down this path. Here's the answer. Click this button. Give us your details. And then they don't get the answer. And it's like, oh, an advisor will be in touch. And it's like, what the fuck? I didn't think I was going to come a lead. They get sold off. Maybe like 48 hours later, 24, 48 hours later, someone might buy that lead. And they're like, oh, well, I spent money on this person, so I deserve their business. They ring them up and they're like, oh, hey, you're that lead. And they're like, oh, well, I was looking for some information on something a couple of days ago, but I wasn't expecting a call. And it's like, oh. And they're like, oh. And then, hey, refund, that was a per lead. It's like, But that's only for the 50% of leads that you buy that will even pick up the phone in the first place. So we can change that over. We can implement an organic strategy to build that trust, to remove the cold side of things and to nurture these people properly, but also implement automations, SMS, email nurture sequences to get on these guys straight away, to create that speed to lead, to show the detail and the care and a level of attention to these people. And it's going to get them to respect us in return. You can even implement your own sort of infrastructure for qualifying these people, see where they stand, use pre-qualifying questions before any sort of submission. Find out how much they earn on a yearly basis, find out if they have savings for a deposit at the moment. If they're looking to purchase, maybe you're going after a different type of client, maybe you're going after debt consolidation or equity release. I don't know who watches these videos. And you can put those tick boxes and find that information. And then after that, whenever you've got the organic strategies, people like, know, and trust you, you've got the infrastructure to deal with these leads coming in the first place, then you can introduce paid media. Whenever you introduce paid media, it'll up the volume massively and scale a system that you already have that's already proven and already works. And that's when you can see the real returns. But I wouldn't recommend that you turn that tap of paid media on until you have those organic foundations in place in the first place. So check out the rest of my videos. I go through everything that I've talked about today. I've already gone through in a separate video in detail, and you can see specifically each one in a separate video. If you are looking to get that set up yourself, there should be plenty there from myself to help you with that. If you don't want to get that set up yourself and you want me to do it for you, there's a link in the bio to work with me one-on-one. Don't really care if you click it or not. There's absolutely no obligations, but if you want, you can check it out. Yeah, if you're still with me, I appreciate you tuning in for this one. Thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video as well. All the best. Take care.